This episode is titled A Bullet for Bullock. It came out on September 14th, 1995, directed by Frank Parr, written by Michael
That's the year
Reeves.
that my wife was born.
Oh, wow. And animation by Studio Junio, featuring Kevin Conroy as Batman, Robert Costanzo as Harvey Bullock, Efren Zimbalist Jr. as Alfred, Leanne Shermer as Renee Montoya, Marie Devon as Summer Gleeson, Greg Berger as Rosie and Vinny the Shark, and Jeffrey Jones as Nivens. All right, honorable mentions here. Studio Junio animated this episode, and they previously produced the episodes that we've reviewed, which were The Underdwellers, Dreams in Darkness, and Mudslide. Buddy, as always, what do you think of the animation in... What do you think of the animation in this episode?
Yeah, it was great. I love this whole episode. This was a fantastic episode. And you know what I realized? Montoya is one of my favorite Batman characters. And I just want her more in stuff. Like, I just like her vibe. I like that, like having an extra person on the police force, because really, it's just Bullock and Gordon at the end of the day. So having Montoya in there is really great. And yeah, I'm here for Montoya, baby. More Montoya in content. If I ever get to write Batman...
I wasn't expecting that in a Bullock-focused episode.
Yeah, well, Bullock was great in this as well. And gross. And I kind of sided with the way this episode ends, because gross.
Yeah, gross. Well, I think the animation is really clean and classy. I love the look and feel of Gotham in this, the snow in particular. I don't know why I love Gotham in the winter, but I just really dig it, especially at Christmas time. It just works so well. I watched Batman Returns recently, and I was like, Gotham looks so good in this movie. I just love that whole vibe.
Something combining that noir with snow is just a perfect combination.
Yeah, it makes it more black and white, maybe.
It's like in Sin City, the Yellow Bastard, when it's snowing. Like, it's just like, oh, yeah.
Yeah. And there's also a really interesting shot where it like focuses in on Bullock at the end, where Montoya is talking to him, and then the background just blurs out Montoya and the whole background, and it focuses on Bullock. And I was like, I don't think I've seen like a framed focus like that in the show before, where they take the time to blur the background. So I thought that was pretty cool.
It's called a rack focus. They're racking focus to him. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. I did not know that.
It's just gotta be him, Montoya. There ain't nobody else.
Director Frank Parr has been credited previously in our Be a Clown review, as well as being a previous guest on this podcast.
Nothing funny about his last name.
And writer Michael Reeves has been credited previously in our review of Pretty Poison. Then we got some...
He's the best M. Reeves that's ever worked on Batman.
What do you mean?
Because isn't that the Matt Reeves? Didn't he make the Batman movie?
Oh, shit. I didn't even know about... I didn't think about that. Yeah, that's a very good point. Way to go, nerd.
Thank you. Oh, wait, sorry. Thank you. That will be minute 7 of my Tide 5, that joke.
Somewhere in there, I started listening to... I always listen to music when I'm writing, and I started listening to Something in the Way.
The
Nirvana song, and there was literally something in that. I said, oh, this is the tone. I sort of kind of get what he should be.
Okay, acting creds here. All returning voice actors have been credited previously on this podcast in their first appearance on this show, such as Robert Costanzo in On Leather Wings, or Efren Zimbalist Jr. in The Last Laugh. And as far as new acting creds go for this show, Leanne Shermer voices Montoya for the first time in this episode. We have a new Montoya voice. She replaces Ingrid Olu as the character. It doesn't say why that happened. I couldn't find that anywhere, but we have a new Montoya now. She is mostly known as the voice of Renee Montoya, and even reprises the role in a recent Lego video game, but also plays the character Alicia Diaz in the Ghost Recon video game series.
Oh, cool.
Then we got Jeffrey Jones, who plays Nivens. He will also go on to voice the roles of Detective Marcus in the Zeta Project and Sir Swami in Justice League, but he is mostly known as Charles the Dad in Beetlejuice, or the Principal Ed Rooney in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. That is the landlord character.
Okay. The principal.
He's also a really awful person and doesn't work anymore for reasons that you can just Google.
Yes. He was in Deadwood as well.
Yes, he was. Yeah, and Sleepy Hollow. Yeah, he was in quite a bit of things. Okay, then we've got Greg Berger, who voices Rosie and Vinny the Shark. Greg Berger will also go on to voice many roles in the DCAU, but is mostly known as the voice of Grimlock in Transformers, the Grumble in Our Real Monsters, Agent K in Men in Black, Odie in Garfield, and the voice of both Mysterio and Kraven the Hunter in Spider-Man, the animated series. He's also been...
Oh,
guest.
sorry. I completely
Jeez.
biffed your plug for when he showed up as a guest on Spider-Man, the animated series, which he recorded in his car.
Yes, he did. And you mean the podcast, not just the series. He
That's
loved
right.
to do that.
The whole series in his car.
Yeah. I'm David the Hunter in my car.
As a fat guy, I would hate my last name being Burger because anytime someone said my name, I'd be like, kind of fancy a burger now.
Is that how he got the name? Was he born Greg Jones and then after a few many burgers?
This
it's
baby
like,
loves burgers.
we're going to change his name.
It's the Burger Miser.
Oh, Christmas tie-in. I love it.
A yo-yo? I love yo-yos. I used to have one as a kid. Whee!
That's kind of a Craven-like voice, actually.
Yeah.
He could probably do that.
Mariah, you cannot give your heart to another man.
Don't touch me!
I love you. I do not want to harm you.
Dr. Crawford, watch out!
Then we've got music here. So our utility belt of fun facts, highlighting the music, especially in this episode. Episode composer Harvey Cohen won an Emmy for the music in this episode.
Oh, well, fucking right. It was dope.
Yeah. He was quoted for saying, Shirley Walker, as you know, was the music supervisor, primary composer for Batman, the animated series, and kind of set the musical tone for the show. Lush, dark, similar to the Elfman scores for the first two films. With the Bullet score, I was told to write a jazz score, but not specifically of any time period. The hard-boiled detective film noir style felt right. Also, as luck would have it, I got the assignment 2 to 3 days after Henry Mancini's death in July 1994. He and his music were big influences on me, and the score is kind of a tribute to him.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, but I mean, the score, it just, there's a one point, I think it's when Batman jumps down to help Bullock in the warehouse where they're dealing drugs. Also, side note, they say like rock crystal in this episode. It is
Crack
like they are
house.
literally dealing, I mean, they are dealing drugs. They even, I think
Yeah.
they say drugs at some point. I'm like,
Yeah.
how was this allowed as a kid's show? Like real bullets, drugs in packages. I was like, I'm drawing this shit right now in my book, which is about drugs. So it's like,
Bullock says Cracktown.
yeah, exactly. Anyway, there's a point where Batman jumps down when they're dealing drugs, rock crystal, and it plays the Batman thing where it's like ba 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 ba, but in the background a drum goes like like it hits a little like ba ba, and then it goes ba-dum dum dum dum, and it starts playing like a jazz version
Yes.
of the Batman theme, and the bass is taking a walk like boom 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 boom, and I was like, fuck yeah. Real Dick Sprang vibes.
Yeah, it really was. It was.
And my dick
such...
did sprang to the music in this episode.
It was a really good score. I really enjoyed the music in this whole episode. As you said, film noir, but that jazzy style. And hearing that quote from Harvey Cohen, I can see exactly what he was going for with that inspiration behind Henry Mancini. And also just like music not from a specific time period. You know, it kind of felt like it could be at a jazz nightclub in the 20s, 30s, or the 50s even, you know, like it was just kind of all over the place, but it was really good. It gave this episode so much more depth.
I've been drawing so much like old timey like fedoras and like people smoking and like all the smokiness and the drinks and stuff. I watched a documentary recently with Frank Miller and he's like wearing a fedora. I'm like, do you think when I'm like 50 I could pull off like wearing like a fedora all the time?
Oh no, don't
Because
do
if
that.
you're young, you're hello milady, and that's no good. I don't want to give off incel vibes, but when this all turns grey, I might start rocking an old school look.
I mean, is it because they're from a different time period where like you're like, oh, they're old, so like that's how they used to dress when they were younger? If you did that when you're old, it's like, well, he just is trying to be like he's from the 50s.
No, but
he's
look
not.
at Frank Miller. Frank Miller's not that old, but he has now turned into an old man due to alcoholism, which is a shame.
Yeah.
But
Hey, let's have a drink.
yeah, I
grape
know all about
juice.
that. And I was watching videos of him, and when he did you know he made Dark Knight Returns when he was 29? That broke my fucking
Whoa.
soul. I was like,
Whoa.
oh fuck, I need to sort my life out. Christ. 29! He made The Dark Knight Returns! And he made it because he's like, I can't have Batman be older than me. You are 29, mate! For fuck's sake. Anyway, when he made that, he had like really long hair and it was all brown. I was like, if he wore a fedora then, he'd look like an absolute douche nozzle. But now he's got full gray and wrinkles and he's got a fedora. I'm like, he looks the business. So I feel like it's
future
something...
you. It's got the look down. Okay.
That's
well,
right.
you would fit right in on this episode because everyone was rocking those fedoras and trench coats and everything.
Aren't you a bit jealous of the way everyone dresses then? Like, is it just me? Like, hey, everyone just looks so much classier, wearing a suit and like having a fag and like a fedora.
I mean, I would just feel like a hard-boiled detective every time I would wear that. Like,
that's awesome, you know?
I guess I would come home from like my normal job and be like, man, I saw some tough shit today.
Took the train home from London. A lot of skis balls on the train. A lot of punks.
Yeah, I mean, there is. So this episode is based on the October 1992 comic story of the same name from Detective Comics number 651 by Chuck Dixon and Graham Nolan. So it is actually a comic book before it's an episode. I did not know that until I was looking up info about this episode. Then we got Vincent the Shark, or Vinny the Shark, was modeled after actor Lee Marvin. And when I Googled Lee Marvin, I was like, yeah, he is.
Okay,
yeah.
I get it.
And finally, Bullock's landlord, Nivens, is likely modeled after actor David Niven, who sported a mustache similar to that seen on the character, and why he's called Nivens. So really cool odes to old school, like film noir films, you know?
I did that recently in Mobster Mash. It's a fun thing to do, you know, like taking actors and basing off stuff. Like my Don Dracula, is based off of a combo of Christopher Lee and Vincent Price, if you like smash them together. And Marlon Brando as well. So like, just do that stuff. It's fun, you know?
It is, yeah, absolutely. It makes it more fun for you, and also if the audience members get it, then they're in on the little Easter egg.
Yeah, and then they have
really
fun.
Cool.
They're like, hey, I know that it's based off of this guy. It's like, yeah, we're all having fun.
Buy my book.
Buy my book.
Okay, question. What did you think of this episode?
Great. Honestly, one of my favorite episodes we've watched so far.
I agree. It was such a great watch. I love the detective story. I love that it's like a buddy cop movie, right? Like pairing Batman up with Bullock. They're both on the same side. They even say that, but they're very different in the way they do things. And I love the tension there between Batman and Bullock working together. And that was just like a classic buddy cop team up. So I really enjoyed this episode.
Are you on the take?
Watch it, freak! I never took a dime from nobody. I just bend the rules a little sometimes. You understand? We're not all that different.
We're on the same side, but we're not the same.
Did you see the twist coming at the end?
No, I completely forgot about it. But when it happened, I was like, "Oh man!" Like it was like unlocked something in my nostalgic brain. It was fantastic. And I love that Alfred was disgusted by Bullock. He said, "What did he say?" He's like, "Oh, that man that looks like an unmade bed." Like that's so shady. And he's there in like his tux, like, gross, sir.
Harvey Bullock, the detective who looks like an unmade bed?
The same.
Do you think when like Bruce gets up and Alfred goes into his room to like clean up and everything, he looks at the bed and just sees a big Bullock and he's like, I'm gonna make that unmade bed?
I bet if he met Bullock, he's like, can I just he like adjusts his collar. There we go. Tight collar. Dust the hat off. Oh, there's a cockroach in your pocket. Hang on, let's take that. Stomp on that. That's disgusting. There, you look better, but you still fucking stink.
Wait, is Alfred like the Queer Eye, but his own version, where he like can go and like doll up Bullock to make him like more presentable?
Like, he's every cast member of Queer Eye. So, tell me about your upbringing. Oh, that's why you're a disgusting pig. Ah.
Oh, you lived with cockroaches as a boy when you hid from your father, so that's why you keep them around. I see.
We're going to give you a double layer with an open shirt because you're a fat guy and it like looks better. Which is not true. They say that all the time on Queer Eye. They're like, oh, they don't say you're a fat guy, but they say it in a nice, very liberal way. Like, you are broader than the average person.
As Alfred would too, right?
Yeah. So we're going to put you in a t-shirt and an open shirt. They'd love that for a fat guy. They're always like, fat guy, t-shirt, open shirt, done, moving on. It makes you look fatter because there's airy stuff around.
I mean, to be fair, if I was Nivens and I had a tenant that never took out his garbage, was attracting roaches with his smelly apartment, I'd probably try to take him out too.
I agree. The fact that he went into his own apartment, thought there was a man with a gun, but it was just I don't know what the word is. What's a group of cockroaches called?
A pack of cockroaches.
A gross of cockroaches? A goo. A goo of cockroaches. Because you go goo when you see it. So many cockroaches that they made the shape of a man holding a gun. I'm not surprised that he's fed up with them. And you don't throw your garbage out? What the fuck?
Fuck, yeah. Like, get hoarders in there or something, you know what I mean?
Oh, they should make Bullock a hoarder. That's actually kind of really fun.
What would he hoard?
People won't be interested. I just love hoarders. Like, I love that show, and I'm fascinated by that mental condition. But the fact that he went into his apartment and ate leftover pizza, I was like, how many cockroaches have walked across that and shit? And just like must be. But then again, I guess if you live in that squalor, you've like built up more of a tolerance and stuff.
But also, he has the worst taste in pizza. Last episode, he had that like creamy, milky soup pizza, and now he's got like, you know when a sponge dries out? And it just sits there. That was looks like the consistency of that pizza. It was thick like a sponge. It didn't fold or anything. And
yeah, when he picked it up, it stayed a triangle. I was like,
yeah,
oh.
Yeah. How old is that pizza, Bullet? If I was Batman, I'd be like, I wouldn't do that if I were you.
Imagine Batman's like, you're going to eat that? It's okay. It's good. It's triangle still. Still? What other shape can it get? It's not blue, it's orange or yellow. So yellow means go, blue means ooh, maybe think about it.
Don't do.
Maybe think about it? What? Sometimes it's tangy. Blue cheese, that's a thing. Oh, God.
Speaking of blue cheese, have you noticed how my apartment smells like blue cheese?
Yeah, I noticed, guys. Fucking hell. I have been waiting in the apartment for like 30 minutes because I thought you'd be here by now. I cannot fucking breathe. Batman's just there with a bunch of like tissues shoved up his nose. Like, Bullock, I think I found the guy that's looking for you.
Oh, so I called hoarders.
Yeah, I called the show hoarders and they're coming now.
We're not going to solve your problem with someone trying to kill you. We're going to solve the problem of your gross apartment.
The only one that's killing you is yourself.
And these roaches that don't seem to go away.
Yeah, Batman's like, oh, roach! Like, he's Batman. He's like not afraid of anything. Oh! And Alfred's on the other one, like, oh, grosser, get out of there, get out of there. Don't bring that back to the Batcave, for fuck's sake. I do not need an infestation of roaches in the Batcave.
Yeah, like Batman sees one out of the corner of his eye. He's like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah. Ah! There's a roach with a gun. Would you like a triangle? No. I eat at, very nice places. Oh, you like Killer Crux, Killer Wings, that soupy pizza, huh? No. You probably eat in places that have silverware. You mean a knife and fork?
Sorry, Mr. Fancy Pants.
Oh, he calls it a knife and fork, does he? He knows the names of the utensils. Wait a minute. You don't know that a knife and fork is called a knife and fork? Yeah, you got a knife, you got a fork, you got a round on a stick. A spoon? Stick round.
It's what I eat my pizza with.
Sorry, there's a cockroach in my mouth. I ate it on my triangle. So, I have been sick all over the Batcave this entire time. It's fine, Alfred. It's still cleaner than it is right here.
A professional hitman would do you here, not on the street.
So what? Guy who gets whacked by an amateur's just as stiff as a pro job.
So what did you think of Bullock and Batman meeting on the rooftop next to the bat signal and that whole sequence?
All very cool, but this, I will say, the one thing that I don't like about this episode is they overuse the Batman disappearing a bit too much.
Yes,
You know what
they
I'm
do.
saying? Every
Yeah.
single conversation with Bullock and Batman ends with Batman leaving early.
I wonder how Gordon puts up with this.
There was one point where he saw his cape leave, so he actually saw him leave, but Batman would always leave early, and I was like, okay, we get it. And then even was like, oh, how does Commissioner Gordon stand it? I'm like, well, I, as an audience member, I can't stand it right now because, maybe 3, you could do 1, 2, 3, and on the third one something happens because in writing there's the rule of 3s, but they did it 5 or 6 times, and I was like, the old Batman disappears trick again. Huh?
Oh, go in there. Also, it's in the snow, so you could just follow the footsteps. Be like, all right, he went that way. You know what
That's
I mean?
true.
You just see a trail of footsteps go behind a little bit of the building, and you're like, I know you're there. I can see the footprints.
Maybe Batman was like, I can't stand 2 seconds with that stink pit. My God, he fucking stinks.
We're outside on a rooftop. It still
Open air!
stinks.
And it smells like Joker's garbage fucking floating vessel.
Sorry, floating vessel, Mr. Fancy Pants.
I forgot the word, okay? I got a lot on my mind.
I just call it a boat, you know?
Yeah. You're a boat of fucking garbage, mate.
That's what that was.
I was talking to him once, and a cockroach crawled out of his hat and went into his pocket. And he was telling me serious stuff about, it could be this guy, Shane the Shark, Billy the Bat. And I was like, I have not been listening at all.
Where do I find you?
I'll find you.
Show off.
The last time they were technically on a rooftop together, Batman threw Robot Bullock into the bat signal. So I know that Bullock doesn't know that, but
He's like, I'll take
Batman's
Robert
like-
Bullock any day. That guy did not smell.
that's how he knows he's not a robot. He's like,
Yeah.
you stink.
He's like, you're not Bullock. What? How could you tell? You don't stink.
Getting a little fresh air? How come I wasn't invited to this little get-together?
I really liked the rooftop scene in the snow with the thug as well, in a tank top. He
Yeah.
must have been very chilly, though, up there.
Mm.
But I like Bullock rocking a shotgun. I was like, that's cool. Seeing
Not
him...
just any shotgun, just a hand cannon. That thing is
Yeah.
just a giant tube waiting to destroy somebody. If he shot that guy, it would have just been his head and his feet left because the rest would have gone. His head would have fallen by his feet because that was meant to destroy. That should not be street legal for police officers to use.
Instead of shooting at him, though, he just shoots. Well, instead of bullets, he shoots cockroaches. He just fires a pack of them. It's like, what is this?
He puts his hands out and they all shoot out of his sleeves.
Bullock also has no right to say that the thug has dog breath when he lives where he lives and smells the way
That
he
breath
smells.
must fucking stink if Harvey Bullock goes, hey, you, bud, your breath stinks. Batman's like, oh, I didn't know where the smells are coming from. Oh, sorry, Mr. Fancy Pants, with your thing you use in the shower that makes suds. Soap? Are you talking about soap? You don't know the word for soap? You clearly don't know the word for soap. Oh! Hey, I didn't grow up like you, probably in a fancy place to have bars of smell good. Smell good.
You got the right to remain silent. If you give up that right, you'll probably bore me to tears, so keep your trap shut, dog breath.
And after Bullock gets pushed onto the train tracks, I said it again.
Train tracks.
Train tracks. I can't say it without sounding like I'm drunk. After Bullock gets pushed onto the train tracks, he gets out and he looks down at that bag of donuts. And for a second, I was like, don't eat it. You're not going to eat it, are you, buddy? He does.
Do not eat that. That's confusing.
I'm surprised the cockroach didn't bring it to his mouth.
Yeah, bring me it, my minions.
We work for Bullock. That's what they say.
We work for Bullock. We get the scraps.
He puts a roof over our head.
And we smell like crap. He puts a roof over our head. 'Cause that's a cockroach's biggest concern. It's raining out. If only there was a Bullock to put a roof over our head. Ew, it's cold in the woods.
It's Christmas, you know. I feel bad for them. They need to have a nice place, stay warm, and a fire. And I'm making my bin.
So fucking stupid. Oh,
Happy holidays, everybody. Happy holidays.
We work for
That's really got you. I didn't think that would get you, but it did.
It's so fucking stupid. That's why. We work for Bullock. Oh dear.
So as you said, there's a load of just straight up drug references in this episode. Crack houses. We got running rock crystal out of Bayside, and Bullock says Cracktown to Summer Gleeson. They're not shy from it at all. They're like, Gotham City is a rough place.
They're like, you can't say crack cocaine. Rock crystal? Well, I guess so, because they might just be slinging natural crystals that come from rocks. Yeah. They don't know what they want them for. But there was a animated drug deal in this episode.
Yes, there was.
A guy
who was
deals.
bald.
Yeah.
They were like, he's got no hair. He's a bad person.
Well.
Hey, look, it's not that bad, for God's sake.
Turn around for us, buddy.
I don't know what you're talking about. I like put my headphones specifically over the spot.
You do. I can see that the bend is right over.
In case anyone's behind me and sees it.
The halo.
Like an angel at Christmas.
That's right. The fuck were we talking about?
Crack.
Yes, crack is what we were talking about.
Also, I mean, Cracktown. There's no shying away from what that
going
is.
Down to Cracktown, going down to Cracktown.
That's what the cockroaches sing.
Why is that so funny? Going down to Cracktown, going down to Cracktown.
We work for Bullock.
He is our friend.
Bullock, what are you doing here?
Need a favor, Gleeson. That shoot you did down in Cracktown?
So that scene with Summer and Bullock in the editing room was a little gross as well. The way he grabs her chair and like tries to like sweet talk her, and it was just really uncomfortable. I was like, buddy, you smell bad. You're not a good looking dude. And even if you were a good smelling, good looking dude, this ain't okay. He's just like, come on, Summer. And I was like, no, stop.
Smiles and the cockroach just like waves out the corner of his mouth. Be our friend too. She's fit, Bullock. Does she have any cockroaches?
No, just us.
Batman's in the background like.
Come on, Gleeson.
You're lucky I talked to you at all, Bullock.
He then gets caught breaking into her office, and like I love Summer's response when Bullock says like this guy's looking to whack him, and she's like, "Look on the bright side, you'll make the 6 o'clock news," and slams the door in his face. I was like, "Hell yeah! Don't help him out after he did all of that." I thought that was great, and it showed like his way of doing things. It's not completely. He bends the rules. He doesn't break the law, but you know what he was doing was technically it was illegal. You know, he broke into someone's office and was going through their personal files. Like that's not okay. But yeah. Batman also does the same thing. So
Batman's like, that's not okay, Bullock. As he's like going through some side files. You should be ashamed of yourself. Ooh, what I was looking for. I keep it neat. I don't fucking chuck them everywhere and leave stink. There's a poo mark on one of them. Did you wipe your bottom in the middle of this investigation?
Did you clean your shoes before you came in here? There's bloody footprints everywhere.
If it's not clear by now, we're on the side of the main villain of this fucking episode.
Yeah, he went mad at the end because of how much he was like, how does no one understand what I'm going through?
Understandable.
You're a pestilence. You insult me, you treat me like dirt. No jury in the world would have convicted me.
I love the drug dealer interrogation scene, but whenever Batman uses fear to get info from a thug, it's just classic, you know what I mean? Like the way he like interrogates him. But I did think it would be really funny though if the guy wasn't a drug dealer and said he was just getting paid to deliver like a sandwich or something to a mate. And he's like doing a little side business, and suddenly Batman's just like, "Where is Vinny the shark?" And he's like, I was just delivering like a turkey club.
I was delivering a tuna and what was it? Sardine sandwich drenched in oil with ketchup, spicy mustard, and barbecue sauce.
And like he dangles him in front of an oncoming truck. And I was just thinking, what if he didn't pull him up in time? Like that guy just splats into the windshield and Batman's like, I biffed that one.
Just what, he just pulls up the rope, there's no one on the other end. Oh. That's a first. I'm going to let you go. I think you're innocent now. I see that you're down there. Just an absolute smear on the sun.
Wrong answer.
So what did you think of Bullock hitching a ride in the Batmobile?
Yeah, that was fun. Yeah, fancy spaceship you got here, or whatever he says. You know, Alfred's like, sir, we're just going to throw the seat away. There's no way I can clean that seat.
That smell is in the Batmobile for a week.
Yeah, fucking Batman's just driving by himself like, Alfred, I can still smell it. Sir, I bleached it 6 times. Well, I can't roll down the windows, can I?
How long was he in the Batmobile? For a good minute? A minute! Sir, it smells like he lived in it.
You want the shark or not?
You know where he is?
He's running rock crystal out of an abandoned auto plant out in Bayside.
Nice starship you got here.
And also, that switchboard of Batman's, that's so distracting to him whilst he's driving. It looked like an old toy from the 90s with like different shapes too. Bullock's like, what's this for? Batman's like, it's bop it. Okay, Bullock, bop it, twist it.
Don't touch anything. No bopping. Batman, I think you got a cockroach infestation in here. Yeah, I do now.
We work for Bullock.
That's what the landlord hears, like as he's trying to sleep. We work for Bullock, we're ruining your flat.
What's this for?
Passenger ejector seat.
My love that Batman moment is when he's in the empty car frame with Bullock and he's all in shadow behind him. I thought that was really cool. There was a few love that Batman moments, but that was my favorite.
Yeah, you know what I loved is Batman in this episode had his cape fully over his body, but slightly open.
Yes.
That very like Batman Year One look where the cape just hangs sort of naturally off his body. And I was like, you know what? That's my favorite look for Batman. I obviously love when he's fully covered in it because it gives you that actual Bat vibe. But when it's just slightly open, like in the front, so you just vaguely see what's underneath, I'm like, that's the business. Like, he looks so fucking cool.
He does look really cool. Yeah, the animation, as we said, is really good in this episode. Studio Junio knocked it out the park. And I like Bullock and Batman taking down those thugs at the end was a really cool fight, especially with that jazzy theme. Like Batman just rocking a gas mask and going from thug to thug in the smoke, just like punching them out. I was like, that's so fucking cool. And Bullock pulls off some moves at the end too, like taking down Vinny. Like he was Batman, swing kicking in from like holding onto a chain. I was like, what are you, fucking trying out to be Robin? Alfred's like, no, sir.
No, sir. Gotta be Batman and Cockroach Man.
Imagine Bullock in a Robin costume, like the old school one with just the pants and the little booties.
Constantly moving because of all the roaches underneath it.
And there's a lot of squeaking and wet flesh going on.
Wet flesh.
Yeah, he sweats a lot. Gets back to the Batcave. He's like, what type of pizza you got around here?
Yeah, triangles or sloppy joes?
It's like, what?
Kill him, sir. I know you've taken a vow to never kill. I think this is the one exception. I agree, Alfred. He's like Mr. Oogie Boogie Man. He's made of cockroaches, sir.
Because I'm the Bullock Man. Whoa.
Whoa.
Hey, it's Christmas, right? That works another time.
Hey.
5 bullocks! 5
So at the end, Bullock's landlord Nivens reveals himself to be the killer, and Batman takes him down before he can even get a shot off. And Nivens spirals into a crazed laughing fit like he's been Joker-gassed, and Bullock tells Batman he owes him one, and Batman tells him to forget it. He's got his own problems. And I was like, he's got a lot of problems.
I was like, I'm not going to take this guy away. Like, I nearly killed him. And he sat in the Batmobile for 3 minutes. So, living above me? Oh.
In fact, Bullock, you're going to jail.
Yeah. Yeah. My homie, the man who owns property. Excuse me, Bullock. I'm talking to another fine citizen of Gotham who has done something with life, like owns property, like I do.
Let me ask you a question, Mr. Landlord. What is the name of the utensils that you eat with?
Knife, fork, spoon, salad
We're
fork.
done. Yep. Bullock, you're going to jail.
A salad spoon. I've never eaten a salad in my life. We know, they say at the same time.
Look, I guess I owe you for this.
Forget it, Bullock. You've got enough problems.
Yeah, I felt bad for Nivens. I really did. Like, I was kind of like, that's really unfair that he's going to go to jail now. Like, I know he did attempted murder quite a few times, but he did say, I was only trying to drive you out. Not that it excuses it, but yeah, Bullock didn't sort his life out at the end of this. He wasn't like, you know what, I got to turn these things around. I'm going to like clean up. I'm going to get my act together. He just continues being a slobby, disgusting, cockroach-infested mess.
Gross.
Yeah, gross. That's what we learned about this episode. Bullock is gross.
Bullock is disgusting. That's what I've learned.
And the reason he's alone on Christmas is because no one wants to hang out with him because he's stinks.
Yeah, why don't any broads dig the bolster? Because you're fucking gross.
And you call yourself the bolster. There was a cockroach that literally came out of your sleeve as you said that.
Bollocks, right?
Yeah, no, you're terrible at jokes as well.
Well, you're sure full of holiday spirit. What are you doing for New Year's?
Same thing I did for Christmas. My laundry.
You sit on a throne of lies. You stink.
Okay, so as always, our top 3 episodes. Almost Got 'Em, Joker's Favor, The Laughing Fish. Does this episode dethrone any of those for you?
It doesn't, but it's definitely a top 10 for me now, that's for sure.
It's a really good episode, yeah, I agree. It doesn't dethrone any of those, but it is way up there. Ranking out of 10, what would you give it?
Give it a 8.9 out of 10, I would give it.
I gave it a 9 out of 10. So there
Yeah,
we
you
go.
know, I'll give it a 9 out of 10 as well.
Yeah, it was really good. I really enjoyed it. And, like, I know it's not Christmas themed.
No, they
but-
say Christmas once. They're like, and it's like post-Christmas in between New Year's.
Yeah, but you get that a few times, and it's still got that vibe. But people were, like, taking down decorations, and I was like, wait till after New Year's, right? Like,
It's over!
it's the 27th. They're like, that's done. It's like, you still have New Year's Eve where they're...
Yeah,
all-
I like the tree up on New Year's Eve when you
Yeah.
dance around the living room to Jules Holland. You know what I'm saying? Anybody out there living in England, specifically watching Jules Holland on New Year's Eve, like me?
Cockroaches on New Year's Eve. We work for...
No, you've overplayed the joke now. You killed it.
Damn it! Okay, fit check. There is only one outfit change that is out of the norm in this episode, which is Montoya rocks a blue suit and pencil skirt at the end in the interrogation room. I was like, are you going to a Christmas party after this? You looking fancy.
Could be.
So that was the only outfit change. Next up, which will be next year, we will come back. This is our last episode of the year. Hope you can live without us. We'll come back some point in late January, maybe mid to late January, but we will come back with Blind as a Bat review. That is our next episode to review. And
You've
before
got
we...
a birthday soon, don't you, birthday boy?
Yes, I do. I'm getting closer to 40.
Very close.
And I can feel it. Let me have some more blood of Christ. Christmas, hey!
Don't make this religious now. This is a podcast for everyone.
That's true. And speaking of everyone, I just want to say a big shout out to all of our listeners this year because I got a ton of messages from our listeners on their Spotify Wrapped, and we were at number 1, number 2, number 3 as their top podcasts of the year, which was so lovely to see so many people share that with us. So thank you so much for that. And also, without you guys, we wouldn't have been able to grow and manage to reach people that connected us to like Paul Dini.
Absolutely.
We had Paul Dini on the show this year twice, which was awesome.
And I've got a fancy new microphone, and I've got a ring light now because
Yeah.
I'm a fancy boy. All thanks to you guys.
That's right. So all thanks to everyone that's listening, and thank you to our guests, like not just Paul Dini, but all of the great guests from the animated series that came on the show this year, and also outside of the animated series, like James from the Watchtower Database came on, which was awesome to have him on whilst you were away on holiday, and just it's helped. I'm just stunned at the growth of this podcast. I really am. I'm always thankful, and one of my favorite things to do is check my phone and read comments from listeners on like silly videos that we post, or just like engaging on Spotify or leaving us reviews. It means the world to both of us.
Well, it's all thanks to you, buddy, because you are the reason this podcast exists. You're the reason why we're sitting here today. You're the reason why you brought so many joy to different listeners, because this is your baby. This is what you wanted to make. I just sit here and make silly fart jokes, but you edit it. You make the videos, you post it, you put it all together. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you.
Wow, that's really kind of you to say, and I really appreciate that. I was going to give you the final thank you though, because that being aside, it is you being on the show that makes the show for me, because I like watch this episode, I take my notes, and I have ideas and maybe where we can go with skits, which we never pre-plan. I just have like, wouldn't it be funny if blah, and then we riff on it. But you always surprise me with where you take things, and it's funnier than I could ever think up. And you make me laugh more than anybody else in the world. And doing this show and having this on record that we can always go back and listen to. I know you won't, but
when
I will.
die much earlier than you do, you have all of this
I'll
to
have
enjoy.
this. Yeah, I'll probably cut to 20 years from now. I'll be listening to this and crying because you'll be dead.
I hope Mobster Mash was a success at least.
I bought it out from you and made millions.
You bought it out from me? With
Yeah,
what money?
For nothing. With your money, I stole it. Gotcha, bitch. Yeah, okay. I'm not as funny as you with these random scenarios, but it was it was a ball this year to do this podcast with you. And I can't wait for what 2025 will bring to this show. I'm looking forward to, who knows, a year or so ago, I was like, we're probably never going to get Paul Dini. And we did. So now I'm not going to say never going to do this for the show. I'm just open for whatever happens. But as long as you and I are chatting shit and making each other laugh, that's enough for me anyway,
Absolutely. That was the point. Just having fun.
Yeah. Also, I'm rocking my Batman Christmas shirt today in honor of the holiday season, in case anyone was wondering why I wasn't in my classic solid black tee like my brother is.
All right, bit shady, but okay. You reach a set. I'm at the cartoon character level in my life where you wake up and you wear a black t-shirt that you bought 20 times.
You're Ricky
every single
Gervais.
time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes life easier. I'm too busy with other shit to focus on like, what should I wear? Does it go with this? I don't know. Oh, this would be nice with this. Black t-shirt, chinos, out the door.
Yeah, you're like Bullock. He wears the same thing every day, but just that one outfit.
No,
Nothing-
it's
he
a
doesn't-
it's a clean shirt every day.
What the fuck was that? It's a cockroach goes
I have never lived somewhere where there's a cockroach, and if I saw one, I would be disgusted.
I would too, yeah. You know what? My first big exposure to cockroaches was in Men in Black. And when I saw those, I was like, those things are disgusting. And if I ever saw one, I just would think of Men in Black and just how gross they are.
You've never seen what's it called? The Creep Show film, have you?
No, I haven't.
Where at the end the guy that's like this multimillionaire, but he's like locked himself in his room because he's like a germaphobe, and then all these cockroaches come in, and they used real cockroaches, and it's like hundreds of thousands of cockroaches come in, and Tom Savini made like a model of him, so like the cockroaches come out of his mouth. And, like, his eyes
Oh
and stuff.
no,
It's gross.
that's Bullock.
Yeah.
Well, we will be back in the new year, as I said, to review Blind as a Bat. Do you remember what that episode is about?
I can't see.
Yeah, no, yeah, he does say something like that. Like, I can't see, Alfred. Now, I can't remember the exact quote, but we'll find out in the new year when we're back.
I'm Daredevil now, Alfred.